Hello, and welcome to Yup, the King of the Hill podcast for Red Devil Bastards. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Rob. Today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 11, King of the Anthill.
I had no choice. I tried planting the ants in your driveway, but they didn't take. They couldn't bite through cement. They're weak, like me.
They're weak. God damn. The voice breaking is so good.
We're really getting Dale in this one, and,
Yeah,
and
we
I
are.
don't mean just screen time. I mean this is close to the Dale Gribble that we're expecting. But in this episode, when Hank won't let Dale spray his prized lawn for fire ants, Dale gets vindictive, Bobby gets hypnotized, and a friendship gets tested.
Oh, a friendship getting tested.
Oh
Written
my
by
God.
Johnny Hardwick and Paul Lieberstein. Now, you do a better job than I do tracking that kind of stuff. We all know Hardwick, though, of course. Beloved voice of Dale Gribble.
Yes, sir.
Now, is this Lieberstein's first one? I don't remember.
No, it is not. I should say first, Johnny Hardwick wrote on Hank's Got the Willies, or at least he was the primary writer of Hank's Got the Willies. I
All
don't
right.
know. He probably wrote on other ones as well.
Yeah, because he's like staff writer, right? Like, he's just around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So both of these guys are always touching episodes.
Oh,
but
Lieberstein,
these-
too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Lieberstein's a producer of King of the Hill as well during this period.
You probably told me that.
Lieberstein, he was the primary writer on Luann's Saga.
That's a good one.
And there is a tie-in to this episode that we will get to.
I don't know what that is.
Well, that's what I'm here for, Rob. I bring you one fact that you don't know. Otherwise, you brought the rest of our notes here. But King of the Anthill, this is an interesting one to me. I found
Yeah.
this immediately not as funny as the previous episode, Keeping Up with Our Joneses, and this is a bit more of a serious episode. Which not to say
Yeah.
that the last one wasn't, but I found this one less jokey in a way, but also a lot of development going on here with Dale. Dale here's, we learn a lot about Dale in this episode. I don't know that we ever learned that he was an exterminator.
No, I don't remember.
Certainly, we never saw the Bugabago, his
Is that right?
work truck. Yeah, this is the first
First
time we're
appearance
seeing
here,
it here.
huh?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And, again, I really don't remember them mentioning him being an exterminator, but maybe they did. But we're seeing Peggy here, too, with a lot of her Spanish flubs. Like, she's trying to pronounce Spanish words faithfully, but not doing that. So we are getting a ton of development here, even though the episode is not as jokey as I remembered it being.
It's funny to be like it's more serious than the one where they were all like,
Where the child was smoking.
yeah, the kid was bumming secondhand smoke
Yeah.
off of strangers at a bus stop, and everyone's hurtling toward cancer. This one's serious though.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, and part of it for me then would come from what we do get about Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioning Peggy, I didn't really make this connection. I struggle with Dale here because he's such a psychotic asshole.
Oh,
in a
God.
way,
Yeah, he's
right?
horrible here. Yeah.
And Peggy has not much to do, but everything she's doing is so over the top,
Mhm.
like with the pronunciation thing.
Yes.
Like, I wonder if this is the hardest they hit it, like the stupidest it sounds or something,
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, the fact that Dale and Peggy both kind of have their qualities that you may not totally love about a human being amplified or like cranked up to 11 here to some degree is interesting. And I guess we'll track that as we go. This is a pretty funny episode, though, I would say.
It's a classic episode. For me, some classic visuals here. I feel like I, maybe more than any other season, maybe saw these season 1 episodes the most.
Yeah.
Because I feel like these just played on TV a lot more. So by all means, a classic episode, but there's a lot of strange stuff happening here that I'm excited to get into and get your opinions on, Rob.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what do you say we crack open our Ireland bystander here and see what was happening? It's May 4th, 1997. What was going on? Thank you so much for listening to Yep and for spending this time with just two guys talking about King of the Hill. Just having a fun time. Hope you're having a fun time as you listen to this. If you'd like to support Yep, you could do that by just telling a friend about Yep. That would be huge. But otherwise, if you recently, I don't know, let's just say that you stopped paying your exterminator $2 a month to spray your yard. You got $2 a month in your pocket, just burning a hole. Well, why don't you couple that with $3 more? Send it over to Rob and I at yeppodcast.com/support. Just a couple taps, and you are unlocking the full episode. And that includes all of the episodes that we have done up until this point. That's at least like 30 minutes of bonus content per episode. This week, what are Rob and I talking about? Well, I'll tell you. We're getting into some of the pop culture and news events of the week that King of the Anthill debuted. That includes talking about Space Jam, because that is doing just crazy numbers in the video sales charts. We're talking about LeAnn Rimes, this up-and-coming star. We're talking about Dalmatians, because Disney made a 101 Dalmatians live-action film in this period, and now, sadly, there's a bunch of Dalmatians showing up in Texas shelters. That's no good. And we're talking about some crazy-ass Texan secedists. I don't know if that's the word, but they're these Texans. They're trying to secede. They don't think that Texas is actually a part of the United States. It doesn't go well. Here's Rob and I talking about it.
They kidnap a couple. It was actually on the day that Keeping Up with Our Joneses aired. They took this couple hostage in Texas, of course.
Now, we're taking this couple hostage, and anything that happens after this is their fault.
That's right. There's like a standoff for a week. Everyone's like, when's that next episode of King of the Hill? Let's...
Yeah, this is the couple talking. They're held hostage, and they're like, honey, I hope that we get out of here in time. I want to see that next one. It's about ants, I think.
It was the dude, I cut the part they mentioned in that news clip, because that was in the spring, and of course here we are, well, later in the spring or whatever, leading into summerish, right? That clip was from February or March, and they did mention his wife was moving in. He's got like a new wife. Some people will just marry a lunatic.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And then, I like your idiot ways. So she's apparently the one. Come this Sunday that we're talking about, King of the Anthill's airing. They finally end the standoff. They let the hostages go unharmed. And apparently it was the wife who was like, come on, Richard McLaren. Can we not do this anymore? And I wonder, what if she was like, Rich, new episode of King of the Hill tonight. We got to wrap this up, man.
Yeah, what are we doing here, Rich? I mean,
they killed our power. We can't watch it.
They cut the cable line, Rich.
Anyway, that dude's in prison still.
Still, because of this?
I guess. You can't like be taking people hostage and having a week-long standoff. And then one of the guys from this group, he didn't surrender. He got in a gunfight with them, and he's dead. He got killed. So it got pretty serious after the hostages were let go.
He seceded from life, from the physical world. Yes, he did. And don't say, Ronnie, that's a little too far. How could you say that? This guy, they kidnapped people. They caused all sorts of mischief. These ain't good people, all right? And you know who else you might not think is a good person? Dale in this episode, but we'll see if he is. YepPodcast.com/support. It helps keeps this show going. Let's go talk about Dale's bugs. So we open in and we see that Hank, he takes meticulous care of his yard, but despite that, Con still talks shit anyways.
My lawn is in a constant state of readiness. The block party is just an opportunity to trot her out and show what she can do.
Hey, Hank, can't you let your lawn go to hell? Okay if doggy make on it?
Hey, if you've got something to say it.
It's not my place to point out low-density patches here, over there, and behind the other side of house. Sucky lawn bring down value of my property.
It's just Comedy and Con, I guess, but it's kind of weird to me. He's like, it's not my place. But then he just says, your shitty yard lowers the value of my property. I don't know. I'm like confused by the sequence there. And I think it's just me being stupid about the fact that obviously he didn't mean that it wasn't his place. He does consider it his place. And so he's making it his place and he's making a point of saying it.
Right, but it's a weird thing to say because we could see like Hank, he's literally measuring his lawn, like better let some air out of the left tire because it's not cutting right. Like clearly Hank is insane about his lawn. So this is just Con being antagonistic for antagonistic's sake. Now it's established that Con's lawn is better than Hank's, I guess. I don't really know how you justify. I'm just looking at cartoon grass, so I can't really tell.
Well, they at least show you that Con's is more green.
Right, it's a little bit darker of a green, which I guess is better here.
For the sake of the story, yeah. So we see Hank like measuring the grass and everything. He clearly is boasting about it, saying, I like that he talks about it in a way that's similar to like a car, like take her out and show her what she can, or show what she can do. You know?
Yeah.
And then when Con does start picking on him a little bit, Dale,
he steps in.
We'll see how this goes, but Dale jumps to his defense.
Now, you listen here, Con. If anyone's bringing down the value of this neighborhood, It's me. My lawn's nothing but ragweed and auto parts. I should be ashamed to live next to Hank Hill. He's got the best lawn in Arlen.
So, okay, right? So far, Hank is like, I take good care of my yard. And then Dale's like, it's the best yard. But then Bill does say that Hank's yard is fucked up.
Oh, don't worry, Hank. We might be able to tell Con's lawn is better than yours, but with all those people at the block party, they won't.
So is Hank's yard messed up or not? Right away in this episode, I'm like, what's happening?
You're right. Yeah, you're so right. Because if it was just Con getting in Hank's head, that would be one thing. But they are kind of piling on about this. That, oh, Con's lawn is so much better than yours. But by all means, okay, let's say that Con's lawn is better than Hank's. Hank would still have the number 2 lawn, you would think. So why is this even a thing? I don't really... Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
I don't know how aware Hank has been that there are legitimate criticisms you can make about his yard.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because if it's just Con, that's one thing. Bill's saying it, and then there does seem to be something about Hank's yard that needs attention. Yet, what? Is this new to him or not? Like, did he know Hank?
I don't know.
Did he realize?
I don't know. I'm really not sure here. But the thing I'm really noticing that pertains to this episode is that Dale steps in and defends Hank here.
Yeah.
And that's a little piece, like, obviously I knew he said that, but I didn't really think about it in the context of what happens in this episode. So I do want to make note of that. We start off, Hank loves his lawn, he's getting insulted, and Dale steps in to defend his yard. Although, again, though, he doesn't say, hey, Con, Hank's yard is better than yours. He says, well, if anybody's yard is really bad, it's mine. Yeah, so it does play into, like you said, it's confusing, but we do learn here that there is a Cinco de Mayo block party coming up, so that's why we are so concerned about the lawns. I feel like this is the first time in the show that we really see to this extent that they put so much care into their yards. Now, we see Hank mowing, before, like we talk about mowing and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much they really hit on the lawn being like as important as it is here.
Yeah, it becomes with this episode like a pretty significant part of who Hank is.
Yeah, this is, what I know Hank Hill to be is this lawn man who loves his lawn, and we're really seeing it here.
In fact, he takes it kind of hard when he realizes that his yard is at least not as good as Con's.
Damn, I've poured my whole life into this lawn. My heart, my soul, the tender feelings I've held back from my family.
Very self-aware here. This is a little bit surprising for me to see Hank even acknowledge this.
One thing that makes me think of is that sometimes it seems like we kind of learn something new about somebody, and it's like, oh, well, that's new. Like, oh, like I guess one example that I can think of is we saw Peggy playing, I almost said Scrabble.
Boggle.
And then later we find out just how big a deal it is. So that's a case of like the seed was kind of planted and then it blossomed later.
The grass seed, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Does grass blossom?
Sure.
Blossom.
Oh!
I feel like there's got to be other times, maybe you can think of an example, where the new thing we found out is just kind of like, it's not that it doesn't fit the character, but it's a little, maybe like that they smoked. It's like, well, there's nothing to give us a sense that they had smoked in the past. Now that's just going to be part of the story. With the yard thing and what he just said there, I like that the pretty new idea that he loves his lawn so much, it gets introduced to us in part with him saying something that totally aligns with who he's been throughout the season.
Right.
Where he can't do emotions. He doesn't talk to his family in the way that a more sensitive or, girly man might. My tender feelings. And yet, but he's also like apparently aware of that too.
That's what kind of stood out to me.
So after we've watched him go through some of it, yeah, he's aware of it.
Is that like the Hank Hill I would really know wouldn't, he'd be like, well, I'm plenty tender with my family. Like that's what you would think. But
yeah, you're right.
But yeah, we learn here like how much his lawn means to him.
After acknowledging that there is something wrong with his yard, he's kind of like, what's the word I want? Like wringing his hands about that. He's in the kitchen.
He's a little overprotective about it now, yeah. Dale comes by to ask if he can spray Hank's yard for bugs in extra time to make up for losing a client earlier. So again, here, I think this is the first time that we learn what Dale does.
I guess as it goes along, you find out that it's not like a viable business.
Right. Yeah, we'll very quickly learn.
because I ended up deleting the clip because you always got to make the choices about what to keep and so on.
Yeah.
Dale's like, the client thought I used too much chemicals. He's like, come on, Hank. He wants to do Hank's yard an additional time for $2.
He's doing it for $2 a pop.
$2. He goes, come on, I'll do it for free. I got to make up the money. I'll do it for free. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
And to jump to like a future episode, we learned that really Nancy's the one paying all their bills. So really for Dale, this is like a means to just have a sense of self-worth, which does tie into this episode.
That's right.
Very much so.
Yeah. Because Hank agrees. He's like, yeah, okay, go ahead and spray the yard.
Yeah.
And then old Peggy's got to chime in.
You know, maybe that's what's wrong with your lawn. Dale's spraying too much poison on it?
What? No, he's always sprayed my lawn. And if I can give some business to my friend and keep my lawn bug-free, it's worth $2 a week.
Well, then good for you for choosing your friend over your lawn.
I think that the like prevailing thing that I'm going to get a little fixated on about this episode is that over and over again, stuff just doesn't quite make sense to me. Like, was Hank's yard messed up? Did he know it? Apparently it's messed up. How did he not know? Now, Peggy says, well, maybe that's why the yard's messed up, because Dale sprays. But Hank says he's always sprayed. So probably it's not Dale's spraying that is messing up the yard, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If we're supposed to believe that it is Dale who is causing whatever vague issue is going on with Hank's. Like, that's what muddies this whole thing. We don't even know if there's anything wrong with Hank's yard. At least they never actually explain anything about it. So are we actually supposed to think that Dale was doing something wrong here? I just don't know. There's so many open-ended questions. But that's the thing, is like maybe we're not supposed to know because it is kind of vague.
But so then right after Hank says, Dale has always sprayed my yard, Peggy still says that he's choosing his yard or his friendship over his yard, as if letting Dale spray will hurt the yard. But Hank just made the case that that's probably not what's going on. So it's like I'm trying to track like line to line. I'm like, wait, what does each character think and understand? And what's the logic for all of them?
Yeah.
I'll try not to whine about it too much.
But no, that is like a realistic thing where it's like, well, maybe Peggy just assumes that Dale's the reason for it. Hank has reason to believe it's not, and ultimately nobody really knows what's going on, and they're just trying to make sense of it all.
Certainly Hank choosing his friendship over his yard at this exact moment is important for her to suggest that, because now he's going to, I guess, choose his yard over his friendship.
Right. He goes to let Dale know that he's changed his mind. Peggy talked him out of it. And Dale warns him about not spraying for fire ants.
These fire ants are well organized, highly trained insects. They'll swarm all over you and sting you all at once without warning on a single command. It's how they killed L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, Dale, fire ants don't sting you all at once. Half of them bite, the other half are on defense.
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
But the guys buy it.
I do want to track that. In that scene, Bill and Boomhauer are there when Hank is saying, look, I don't want you to spray. And then he's also trying to assert that he knows more about fire ants than Dale does. That's an important note for this, and also plays into like why Dale will be so upset. Like, it's not about losing business. A part of it is he really puts a lot of his self-worth on this job, and here he is being like undermined in front of his friend group about it.
That's right. Yeah.
Give me 1 sec. I'm trying to figure out how L. Ron Hubbard died, and I don't know why it's not more clear in his Wikipedia article. I have to like fucking actually read through it.
I assume he didn't die.
Oh, that's right. Xenu picked him up.
That's right.
So I guess L. Ron Hubbard died of a stroke. That is according to the New York Times in 1986. That's how they announced that he died of a stroke. Now, I don't know. Maybe fire ant stings can lead to a stroke. I don't know anything about either.
You don't. Dale insists that he does know.
Yes.
Because the guys are like, well, I agree with Hank. I believe Hank. And Dale's like, why are you agreeing with Hank instead of me, right? He makes the case that they should believe him on this issue.
I've personally taste tested each and every household insecticide. I've read a book. Now, who do you believe, me or Hank?
Man, Hank more believable.
Hank more believable.
Dang, I'll Hank more believable. This is really upsetting Dale.
Yes, of course.
Big time.
You know, he's like, come on, Hank, let me do it. And Hank's like, no, you're not going to do my lawn anymore. And then Dale pretends to spray it to save
Yeah,
face.
just to save face.
It's
Yeah.
a funny moment. Okay,
Just over in
Hank.
the corner. Yeah. And it's so funny because the guys saw all this transpire. They know that Dale's fucking faking it.
Yeah.
Like, Dale's not fooling anybody with this, but he's still compelled to pretend like he is somewhat in charge of the situation.
Okay, so we'll note that, right? The guys agree with Hank. They watch Dale be ridiculous. And we'll see how that goes. Now with that block party coming,
Yeah.
Hank doesn't have a lot of time to repair his yard, but he's going to give it a shot. I think he goes to this, store to get, what do you say, like seed and
Yeah, just supplies
fertilizer,
to fix up
stuff
his,
like that.
his yard. Yeah, and I do want to note, we see he's driving in his truck there, and we have Ladybird who's tied up in the back of the truck. And we have Bobby who's sitting back there in the back of the pickup bed, and then Bobby's sliding around every time Hank turns. And I love this detail. It's this slice of life of just seeing this family going out to the store together.
Yeah.
And we never see Ladybird or Bobby at the store.
That's true.
So this was such an unnecessary detail, but one that I love and really fleshes out this world of not only as a visual gag of Bobby sliding around in the back, but just seeing the family all go out together.
That reminds me that I busted out the DVDs.
Yeah.
I watched the deleted scenes for this episode.
Oh, I was about to pull
There
them up,
was
yeah.
not one of Bobby or Ladybird at this store.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if there was a scene with them. But yeah, just a fun little visual gag there. But yeah, I love that little detail.
It is funny. I don't know why Bobby's sliding around so much. Have you ridden the back of pickup trucks?
Not while we were going that fast.
I wonder how fast he was
necessarily.
going. Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been in the back of some pickup trucks. As I was kind of a scaredy cat kid, so you are kind of like, oh my god, but also then when I'm older, I can play it cool, and mostly feel fine about it. I'm not sliding around everywhere.
Well, I think of note is Ladybird's just standing there. She's standing up
Yeah,
the whole
really.
time, no problem.
It's a
She's
Bobby
okay.
issue.
And Bobby's yeah. So it's just a goofy little kid, which kind of ties into this episode.
Well, I was gonna say, how does that relate to where Bobby ends up with all this?
Yeah, well,
They're at that store. Hank wants to pick up a new tool.
Why are men so attracted to hoes?
Kind of an odd joke
yeah.
for King of the Hill, I think. Why are men so attracted to hoes? I feel like you don't hear like punny, racy jokes on the show very often.
No, and that one's more for the audience, I think,
Yeah.
than it is like any actual thing that Peggy would have said.
What we really get here that's of substance is Hank. He finds this new expensive kind of grass that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And Peggy's like, it's expensive. And Hank lays out why his yard means so much to him.
Look, some people hoist a flag to show they love our country. Well, my lawn is my flag. It tells the world, here lives a competent, trustworthy salesman of propane and propane accessories.
Hell yeah.
A man who can't keep up a lawn is either inept or stupid. Without my lawn, I am Bill. You want to be married to Bill?
No.
Without my lawn, I am Bill.
And now they're buying it now. Like, you have to wonder if this came to Hank as an honest thought in that moment, or maybe he's been holding on to that for a while to pull out against Peggy when he really wants something.
Oh, God, that just hit me just right now. Man, that's funny.
Well, it also ties into how Dale was saying how shitty his yard was.
Yeah.
And that's almost like an insult from Hank to Dale, and that kind of pulls me to
I didn't make that connection. That's right.
yeah, where Hank's like, Peggy's my best friend, son. Like, she's the smartest one in town, even smarter than Dale and Bill. And here he is insulting them again behind their backs to Peggy. Yeah,
That's right.
so Hank, we see him lovingly installing the new sod, and then in a kind of weird moment to me, Luann rolls around in it like a weird child until Hank tells her that's enough. Dale comes over to have a beer and admire the new lawn. He acts like he's on good terms with Hank.
He brings Hank a beer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just, nice new lawn here.
What a sneaky bastard.
This is horrible because when Hank gets distracted by Luann, who's now rolling on Khan's lawn for some reason, Dale shakes the leg of his jeans, and he drops a bunch of ants into Hank's grass.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Oh, I don't know what we know about Dale so far. I do like that you're pointing out that his self-worth is tied up in all this. Because I was wondering, if you know where the episode goes, but even just looking at this moment where he's up to no good. That's his friend. Mm-hmm. All we know this episode about Hank is that he loves this yard so much. He treats it tenderly like he won't even treat his own family.
Yeah, and his friends know this, and Dale knows
and they
this.
know it. And he still does what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you think like, oh, is this guy irredeemable? Like, this is pretty twisted stuff. But so I know that I need to like understand where he's coming from and have compassion for a guy even as he does the wrong thing. And I think that self-worth thing helps me get there.
Yeah, me too. Because if you're just casually watching this, Dale just comes off as so unlikable here. Yeah. Obviously, we haven't gotten to the full extent of it in this episode, but
yeah, that's right. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, I know. I mean, automatically, you're just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is the most important thing in Hank's life besides his family, and you're fucking with it. But again, like, he's doing something horrible here that he has to know is wrong, but he's doing it for, I don't want to say good reasons. It's not a good reason at all, but for reasons that make sense, because he's not doing it to hurt Hank so much as to be valuable to Hank, I think.
Yeah, he's coming from a place of need and lack, which is relatable, even if you'd like to think, well, I wouldn't go this far.
Right. So we'll see where this need for self-worth will bring Dale in the second act here. Yeah. I guess this grass feels good. Hank likes the feel of it between his toes. I do want to point out really quickly, when we moved into our townhome here, it was new construction. So when we moved in, it was just fucking dirt outside. Nothing.
Yeah.
Eventually we got some sod put on, and you got to water the fuck out of that. Like, it sucked. I hated that. Yeah, and I'd go out and you had to soak it, and I'm just constantly muddy. It wasn't like this. You weren't just walking around on like solid ground. It was like damp as fuck. Like, you really didn't want to walk on it for the first while.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just remember like my shoes just caked with mud, up like stomping through the wet sod. It sucked. But that's not the case here.
I tell you what, Hank barefoot, which is unusual, out of character for him, is barefoot outside. He's never barefoot inside.
Yeah.
But then, and then you're talking about your shoes being caked. We'll keep all that in mind.
Okay.
Talk about grass seeds. We're planting seeds.
Yeah, lots of grass seeds floating around here.
I watched the deleted scenes.
Oh,
I'm talking about shoes and muddiness.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see where that gets us. Well, Hank gets insulted by Con. Con, a real antagonist in this story, in a way that really takes a backseat to Dale.
Yeah.
Because I'm so focused on Dale here, but Con is really an antagonist here as well. Hank's getting it from two directions on this one.
It's not really the same thing, but it just now reminded me of men being what seemed like maybe the antagonist for Boggle. And then just disappearing because Peggy goes to Dallas, It's like Con doesn't disappear. He kind of is around.
This resolves in a good way with Con, at least, as opposed to the Min thing.
Well, that's true, yeah. But I just, like, Con is around. It's just not his story. It's just not about him. Like, maybe for a second you'd think maybe it could be. Pretty quickly it's clear that it's really about Dale.
Because Con so easily could have just been the antagonist here.
Yeah.
But Dale becomes one in a way bigger, way worse way than Con is.
Which starts here. Hank barefoot and gets bit.
Yeah, he gets bit by a fire ant.
Oh, God, no! An anthill on my new lawn!
No!
Oh, so that's what that is.
How did I get fire ants?
I'm only a professional exterminator. I don't know how you get them. I only know how you get rid of them. Well, gotta go.
So Dale's just hanging around. You would expect Dale's plan was for Hank to turn around and say, all right, Dale, you could spray my lawn again. But that's not what happens.
You're right. Yeah.
And that's, I assume, I don't anticipate Dale wanted it to go as far as it will go. You would think that Dale's expecting, all right, he sees an anthill, he's going to come get me, I'll take care of it, and that's that. Well, that's not what happens.
Well, why does he leave then? Why doesn't Dale linger there? Instead of being like, gotta go.
You would think he would.
Like, you'd almost expect him to wait, expectantly.
Or say, Hank, I could help you with this, man. Like, let me take care of this. You got this new beautiful yard. Let me take care of it or something.
It doesn't surprise me that he wants Hank to come crawling back.
That is true.
I just don't know why he doesn't hang around a bit to give him a chance.
I figure he's so pathetic that he would no matter what, like all he wants is Hank to come back to him. That he doesn't care how that happens. So I would think he would be there, be like, Hank, let me spray for you. Come on, man. I would expect that.
Yeah, you could see him like being so uncool about it, like so
Yeah.
desperate that he's like,
Yeah, exactly.
so now will you let me do it? Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have an episode if that happens, so none
true.
of that happens. He just kind of, hey, all right, we'll see you later, Hank. Walks away. And Hank, he tries to go the ecological route here, the safer route, because he has implanted in his head from Peggy, and maybe wrongly so, but we'll never know, implanted in his head that these chemicals are bad for the yard. He's going to go the eco route. So he gets some eco kill. Peggy says that with a name like that, it must be ecologically safe. But the box says it's economical. That's a fun, really kind of subtle joke there.
Classic King of the Hill. Like
Yes.
a character says one thing, but we can see another thing, that kind of deal where you do have to be like looking and you pick up, otherwise
Yes.
you'd miss it.
And I don't even know if I appreciated that fully until now. But yeah, it's this small plastic tent that you fill with flies and you put over the anthill.
The forward fly injects its egg into the fire ant's head. The egg hatches into a maggot, which eats away at the ant's brain until the head falls off. Repeat as necessary.
I like it.
I like it.
This is exactly what those environmentalists should be spending their time on. Finding ways to use nature against other forms of nature that are inconvenient to man.
The Ford fly, you know what that stands for?
Yeah, but that's the fix it again, Tony.
Fix it again, Tony. Man, you know who knows about eco kill?
Who?
Over there, while Hank's setting up the tent over the anthill, we got the boys, Joseph and Bobby.
Yes.
They're looking at a line of ants walking across the sidewalk. Bobby, by the way, is getting a better look with a magnifying glass and then occasionally accidentally frying one with the sun.
Yeah, so he uses nature to stop the problem.
On accident, though. He's just fascinated.
Yeah, he's just checking them out, yeah.
Joseph likes the idea of eco kill.
Ooh, your parents got Echo Kill.
Echo kill.
We can collect the empty ant heads when they're done.
So Joseph knows
Joseph being
about
a
this.
Creep. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he knows what it is and how it works. Bobby likes the ants, and he gathers some.
He puts them in like a gumball machine to take to his room. Yeah, Joseph continues to draw on his inherited knowledge. Bobby's admiring his ants, and Joseph gives him some info.
Hey, look at that chubby white one. He reminds me of me. That's the queen, stupid. It looks just like the one on my dad's truck. You mean Dale Gribble's truck? Yeah, my dad. The queen is cool. She lets out smells that make the other ants do whatever she wants.
Oh my God. You mean Dale Gribble's truck?
You mean Dale Gribble's truck? Yeah, my dad. Yeah, how about that? Like, what an interesting interaction there.
Yeah, I know.
No doubt Joseph has called Dale his dad before to
Yeah.
Bobby. So yeah, this implies that Bobby knows, I guess, that
Doesn't
Dale
it?
Gribble isn't Joseph's biological father. And even in a future episode, Nancy's talking about the people that know, and she's like, and I think Bobby knows too, or something like that, or maybe Bobby even knows. So it seems like Bobby knows, but he at the same time he doesn't say, Joseph, I think that's not your dad. Like he still
right.
is respectful of that whole situation. It's very interesting. A lot to chew on.
It is one of those jokes that might be my favorite joke in the episode other than I Am Bill. Like, I love, you mean Dale Gribble's truck?
You mean Dale Gribble's
But
truck?
if you really look closely and think it through, you're like, it probably can't happen, right? Like if Bobby does know and he never brings it up, and yet if he knows better than to bring it up, then why would he ever ask for that clarification on which dad Joseph means,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's entirely realistic within the world,
Right.
but it sure is funny.
yeah, but at the same time, we've always noted how Bobby is this character who just calls things like he sees them, like he just sees the world for what it is, and I think
That makes me think, like, you could even see that Peggy's like, and we're not going to talk about that. And in this case, Bobby's like, not talking about it exactly. Like, he's not saying it straight on.
yeah.
But what
Let's
he
just say
is-
in this case, Peggy doesn't know
about what?
about Nancy and John Redcorn.
Peggy doesn't know yet?
Yeah, that's an episode plot
Oh.
coming up
So
here.
Hank
where
might have told Bobby.
Maybe they talked about it, yeah. Or maybe he talked about it with Connie. Maybe I'm sure Connie would have noticed as well, and maybe
Connie probably gets it. Yeah.
Bobby and Connie were talking about it, yeah.
But just the idea of like maybe Bobby understands enough not to say it outright, but yet doesn't quite keep himself from saying things that are built on that foundation. You know?
Yeah.
You mean Dale Gribble's truck? And if Joseph asks, like, well, yeah, why would you even ask me? Then maybe Bobby would be like, you know, like maybe he'd realize what he's done. He's just kind of obliviously saying something. Maybe there's a way to make it work. All I know is it cracks me up.
Yeah, it's so because you don't expect this brilliance from this little kid of like he's the because we're 11 episodes into this show. If you're watching this in real time, because we know how all this transpires having seen the show. But if you're watching this in real time, you're probably like, are they ever going to loop back to that this kid is clearly like...
right.
So you're getting a little bit of that, talking about planting grass seeds. At least you're getting a little bit of that here, literally 10 episodes after the first episode. They haven't touched on it really since then. Maybe we've seen like a little bit of Nancy and John Redcorn together. But outside of Pilot, that's really the first time that we see any sort of play on Joseph being Dale's son. Until here in episode 11.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there was John Redcorn stumbling out of the window.
Oh, you know
I think
what?
That was Luann Saga.
I do want to say in episode 3, Order of the Straight Arrow, we do kind of get a little bit of that with John Redcorn being there talking in that one scene he's in. He's talking about the Native American stuff,
Right.
and then we see Joseph. So I think they do kind of touch on it there. But still, it's something they aren't touching on a lot, so it's nice to get a little bit of that here, especially from Bobby, who's like the character you might least suspect it from.
That's right.
But it's fun here, the way that they're using Joseph as somebody to teach Bobby about the ants. Because, again, this is 97. Bobby doesn't just have a computer with internet access in his room or a phone to look it up on. So you kind of need a character to tell him about this stuff, or I guess you could have it where he already knew. But I like seeing Joseph used in this way, because we haven't gotten a ton of Joseph throughout the show, and usually he's just being a bad kid or a creep like we saw earlier with the heads.
That's right.
At least here, he is imparting some knowledge on Bobby, which will drive the episode.
Right. And it's pretty cool to think about, well, Dale, his whole thing is building an identity on being an exterminator. He does do that, competently or otherwise, while living with Joseph, who then absorbs some of the knowledge, learns some of it that he can then pass on to Bobby, so that Bobby will get up to what he gets up to. And that'll loop back to Dale to wrap up his story. So there's kind of a nice, like a connectedness between everything.
Yeah.
It's like a circle.
Yeah, lots of interplay between these characters that makes this show feel a lot more real, because that is very realistic to where, if you have all these people together talking to each other all the time, they're going to be influencing each other in these ways.
Yeah. Oh, Dale just can't stand the idea, though, that these head-emptying flies
Yeah.
might work.
They're taking his job.
So this is key too, right? It seems like maybe Echo Kill would work, because otherwise Dale wouldn't do what he's about to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I assume it would work based on what they're talking about. So under the cover of night, Dale walks over to the Echo Kill, and he kind of, kicks that little plastic dome and lets the flies out. Then he mocks Hank for still having ants. Hank thinks that he'll get tough and mow the anthill, but of course that just spreads ants everywhere. It just flings them all over the
dummy.
yard. But I also have to assume that Dale is dropping more ants over time.
Well, we do
see.
find out that was apparently what he's up to, yeah.
Maybe that's why I was thinking that, Rob. Maybe because that's what happens in the episode. Maybe that's why I'm sitting here. I think that was what was going on.
But you're right that we do eventually see evidence that he must have been, yeah.
Yeah, but so later he goes outside to see his lawn covered in anthills, and funny enough for the world of King of the Hill, there's a crowd gathering around, and we have our friend Dooley's here with some commentary.
You've got ants. You've got ants.
I love, as we mentioned sometimes about Bobby, certainly about Dooley, if you can get just saying in a succinct way, just concisely say a fact that's true, and it's hilarious. That's one of my favorite things, that like one way to be funny that just kills me is if you can just say a true thing and it's hilarious.
And especially
It's
when
so
it's like
simple.
a dummy kid character doing it, who's just walks up, and Dooley isn't back with the crowd. He like walks
He
up
walks
to
up.
Hank's door, and you've got ants.
I've got something to say to you. Let me get where you can hear me.
Oh my god.
How about the idea, though, that I watch Hank plow over the one anthill he has with a riding mower. The dirt sprays everywhere. Later, there are anthills everywhere, and I think he did it to himself. But we do find out later, and of course I'm getting ahead of us, that Dale had like a schedule for putting ants in the yard. So I guess it's Dale's fault, right?
Yeah,
But
I
there
would think
is
so.
that when Hank hit the anthill with his tractor, he did make his own problem worse without Dale's help.
Right.
You know, like I would think it would make sense that he's actually responsible for some of what befalls him. Even if the episode is like, well, Dale's being really sinister, you know, Dale's orchestrating some bad shit here.
Mhm.
It's like, well, Hank didn't do himself any favors. Like, he spread ants all over his goddamn yard himself, and we don't acknowledge that.
Yeah, he definitely didn't make anything better by doing that. He was just frustrated, and yeah, no doubt.
At this point, would you think that it was Hank's fault for spreading them? Because the last thing we saw was the tractor, and it's going to be a while before we find out that there's like a schedule for Dale.
Right, but I mean, even besides him mowing it, like if he just left it, you would think it would grow. I don't know, actually. I don't know if it would. I don't know how ants work enough to speculate on, like, well, would there just be more hills popping up, or do you have to be dropping new queens every time? I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not read a book.
Yeah, I'd watch a movie. Is there a movie about ants, preferably with a Z at the end?
Maybe I'd watch that. I was going to say, I don't know if I'd watch a movie about ants, but maybe if it's a Z on the end. And it's like awful 1998 animation.
Yeah, I think that would really educate us here.
You've got ants.
You've got ants. Thanks, Dooley. Again, just one of those like completely needless little things to do in the episode, but I'm so glad that they
I
did
know.
it. Because all you needed was Hank going, "Whoa!" like seeing his yard, and
Whoa.
that's it. You could have cut to the next scene. You don't need... You've got ants.
He does go crawling back to Dale.
Yeah, Dale gets what he wants, all right? Dale gets what he wants. Hank goes crawling back. So now that he seems to be right about the ants in Hank's lawn, Dale's smoking on a 55-gallon drum of something flammable, and he's telling Bill it's okay to mix lighter fluid with his propane.
For the block party, by the way, that's kind of present throughout, right?
Yes.
Like Bill.
Yeah.
Bill says, "Peggy wants." God damn it! Why do I try to do Bill and I always do Hank? Well, I don't know what the.
Well, because
what
at
is
this
wrong with
point,
me?
look, Rob, with the state of Hank's lawn, he might as well be Bill.
That's right.
It was prophetic when he said that. Now Peggy's married to Bill.
But he's like, Peggy wants me to make all these ribs or whatever it is, so I need extra. You know, I only have so much propane though, and that's why Dale's saying like, yeah, you can just mix anything. You know, lighter fluid.
Yeah.
Hank says, don't do that.
Oh, Bill, you don't want to be mixing and matching your petrochemicals. The Propane Association recommends that you...
It'll be fine, Bill. Burn is burn.
Burn is burn. I got to remember that.
No, I'm telling you, that's dangerous. Propane is what I know best.
Well, it sure ain't lawns.
Yeah, man, he's dang sure right about that, yo.
This
Hank
feels
sighs
like
at the end.
2025 in a goddamn nutshell, where it's like, I'm sorry, I hate to bring that up, but every single beat of that is like every like distrust in any authority figure ever.
Wow.
Where Hank, who knows his shit, and there's like the conspiracy guy, like, no, it's fine, burn is burn, which dummy Bill is like, oh, that makes sense to me. Burn is burn.
Yeah.
And it's a catchy slogan.
Uh-huh.
And then Hank's like, no, it's dangerous. You can't do that. And then Dale's like, well, your lawn sucks, so what do you know?
And then everybody's like, yeah.
yeah, you're right. His lawn does suck. Well, I'm not going to listen to this guy. But this scene here mirrors that scene at the beginning where Hank was talking about ants or lawns,
Right.
whatever it was, where he undermined Dale in front of the guys, and the guys were listening to Hank over Dale, and Dale was upset. It's like the exact opposite now, where it's Hank in that position.
Which is tough because I don't know exactly why they flip on Hank so quickly and thoroughly.
I kind of feel like more so in this episode, but in general, like both of these guys are just hangers-on who...
That's true. Well, Boomhauer.
You
less
wouldn't really
so.
expect this from
Yeah.
Boomhauer. Yeah, you would expect Boomhauer to be more level-headed here, but with a character like Boomhauer, they're just going to use him however. So I think we're just going to have to resign to that fact.
Then there's,
Oh yeah.
we know that fucking guy will just go with whatever current
Whoever
takes
seems in
him.
charge. Yeah, we saw that in the last episode
That's
when he's
right.
trying to like back up both sides of the smokers meeting. Now here he's like, well, Dale's the one with the catchy slogans, and he's also making my life easier by saying I can just mix all my fucking petrochemicals together, and that's what I want to do because it's easier for me. So I'm gonna agree with him.
I wonder if Bill actually does it. It never comes back around.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you watch the deleted scenes. Is there one where his house explodes?
Nope. No sign of the consequences of Dale's hubris
man.
here.
Yeah.
Boy,
Well,
he's riding high on this shit,
and literally, he's sitting high on this this barrel of chemicals. Hank asks to talk to Dale alone because the guys are there. He needs a moment
Yeah.
alone with Dale.
By the way, they wait until Dale gives the go-ahead. Like, yeah,
yeah, Dale's like the leader now.
like he is in charge.
So Hank asks Dale for some help with the ant situation. He kind of throws his hands up and says, "All right, Dale, I need your help." Here we have Dale will take advantage of his newfound apparent superiority.
Hank, I was just telling the guys about Stonehenge. It seems the Druids used it as some kind of sophisticated celestial...
Dale, I didn't come here to...
Oh, no. For once, you will hear me out. Calendar.
That's just a fun Dale joke. But yeah, Hank does need his help, of course.
Those fire ants are out of control. Dale, you're the only one who can help me.
That's right. I am. The question is, why should I?
Well, I'll give you $2.
Ha! $2.
Because you're my friend.
Ooh, I'm Hank's friend. Tie a ribbon around me.
Because I'm coming to you man to man, offering a genuine apology for choosing my lawn over our friendship.
Geez, Hank, I'm just holding out for $2.50.
A genuine apology.
So that's another example of, well, what's going on here exactly? Because it wasn't about losing the business. It's about damage to his self-worth that drives Dale, which I think has to be the case. Otherwise, what the hell,
Yes.
Here, Dale's being a jerk, but apparently that's not to feel Hank's need for help or feel Hank's respect, to build up his esteem. He says, I was just holding out for $2.50. So the way he's being a jerk is about money. And I just find it's things just seem a little off kilter somehow.
My thought is maybe Dale doesn't fully understand why he's doing it. Maybe he thinks it's about money. Maybe that's how he's justifying it to himself, but ultimately it's his own hubris and ego, and not even that, just self-worth at stake here in a way that he might not want to come to terms with.
When you started making that point, I was like, I don't know if I could probably go with that.
I mean, if it was about money, he'd be charging more than $2.50. He'd be like, I was holding out for $10.
But that he thinks it's about the professional part of it, right? I have a business. This is what I do. He's not quite all the way understanding what all he needs out of it as far as self-worth and everything. So here it's almost like in Square Peg, where we got that sense of all this stuff that was driving Peggy with sex and adults having better relationships with their own sexuality and so forth. But then in that argument with Hank, she goes back to just substitute teacher. She goes back to the professional aspect of it all. It seems a little similar here, where there's more going on deeply within Dale, but at least out loud, what's coming out is the kind of simpler surface level thing of money in this case.
Right. Which makes sense for these guys who don't really talk about their feelings or anything like that,
Which of course is what Hank starts to do, talking about friendship, and Dale's like, oh, geez.
Well, Dale gets $2.50 to spray, and in return, Hank gets a fucking desert of a lawn, because after Dale's done spraying, it's nothing but sand.
Yeah, it seems like sand.
Yeah.
Would you suppose what is it meant to be like ash? Because Boomer House says ashes to ashes at one point. What is this substance?
The grass would still be there. It would just be dead, but it's literally just sand.
Of course, Hank's heartbroken about that. He's talking about like, because he had that great new grass. And he's
Expensive too. They spent a lot of money on
expensive
that.
He's mourning it, saying, I never got a chance to mow her, Peg. But then again, there's a crowd. The guys are over there, Khan's over there. And again, with the thing where they flipped on Hank so quickly, here, his life is ruined. This is their best friend and neighbor, lifelong friend and neighbor, and former football teammate who went to, they lost. Is that why they don't?
They're holding it against
They're
him.
so quick to go against him here. Hank is devastated.
Poor Hank. Serves him right.
Serves him right, Bill says. For what?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not as surprised that Dale then is
Damn straight.
Yeah, it does.
says damn
You know
straight.
where I come from, we got a thing called karma. You do something bad, it come back and bite you in the ass. Big, white, stubborn ass.
Guys, I can hear you.
So, Khan's an asshole. But is like based on what is he saying that Hank deserves what's coming to him because of do something bad? He says, you do something bad. What bad thing did Hank do exactly? In the case of Khan, I guess I'm realizing now I could believe he bought a better lawn.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not obvious or clear that that's what he's referring to.
I think that, I think I take it that he's just feeding into like, oh, you were so bad to your friend. But that's the thing here is that,
I guess that's what it is.
like, if this happened to Hank because he never got Dale to spray, it would make sense. But he ultimately paid Dale more money to do it. What, he put Dale out of work for like a week, maybe?
Yeah, like 2 days.
Yeah, like it was barely any time at all. This is extremely harsh because, like again, Hank ended up bringing Dale back, and now this happens. So I don't know. Everyone's just against Hank in this one.
I don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And if we're kind of tracking, like, okay, well, what's the experience like watching the episode and all that kind of stuff, like we're headed toward our rating and everything. It's stuff like that that's going to end up affecting how I come away feeling about the episode and ultimately rate it for the podcast and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Serves him right. For what? I don't get it. Mistreating his friend, though, I guess. I guess you're right.
Like, how are we supposed to be feeling here? Because we know, like, we the viewers know what's happening the entire time. They don't try and hide it from us that it's Dale. We see him plant the first queen in the yard. So we know that Dale is the bad guy. And so, ostensibly, we're feeling sorry for Hank here. Because we know that this is being done to him. So I guess this is just serving to make us feel even worse for Hank. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, what they're trying to...
Like, why have the guys be against him like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem unnecessary, right? Everything can stay between Hank and Dale. I don't think you need... And then Khan can be an antagonist, but you don't need Bill or certainly not Boomhauer,
yeah.
to also, make this switch.
Yeah, because I feel like Ashes to Ashes is a kind of negative thing to say here.
Yeah.
Not like,
we
oh
didn't
shit,
hear it.
this happened to Hank. He says it as kind of like, well, easy come, easy go kind of. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just using characters in a way that doesn't. Khan here, it makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Khan would take any chance he could to be antagonistic to Hank, but
that's right.
With Bill and Boomhauer, I don't really understand it. They're just using the characters to try and further us feeling sorry for Hank in the situation, and also maybe to make us a little bit angry because we know what they don't know, which is that this is all Dale's fault to begin with, and you should be on Hank's side here. So they're just trying to get a rise out of us, I guess. Again, back to 2025. This is like a fucking TikTok post or something trying to make us angry and engage with it, and it's working.
I mean, you even pointed out, though, it's like he did let Dale spray, and now that ruined the lawn. So why are they... It's like Dale just is he gets off scot-free that he fucked this yard?
Yeah, why doesn't anybody think, oh, it's the chemicals that did it? Clearly, why would the ants just cause him to have a desert in his front yard? It doesn't make any sense, but...
At any rate... It's time for us to finally get back to Bobby.
Yeah, because if you thought this episode was too straightforward, too sad at this point, it's about to get very strange and very cartoony and give us some kind of much needed comic relief, as kind of unsettling as it becomes.
If you remember, Joseph said that the queen emits some kind of smell that, like, dictates what the other ants do, or however he phrased it earlier. So we did see Bobby with those ants in his room in that gumball machine.
Yeah.
Like, take a whiff, took a big, deep inhale of whatever's going on with queen stink.
Him using this gumball machine is perfect because he takes the top off or whatever, and he has this, like, globe to sniff into.
Yeah. We pick him up. He's eating sugar.
Yeah.
And we've seen him lick syrup off a plate. So it's like, yeah, Bobby eating sugar in the kitchen. But then he goes back to his room, back to the gumball machine, and dribbles the wet sugar out of his mouth.
Like foaming out of his mouth into the...
And I don't know if do his eyes look kind of like dazed and weird at this point?
Yeah, they do.
And then here's what he says.
These are queen. These.
Feast, my queen. So he's talking to this ant.
Yeah. And the visual.
What the fuck's going on?
This is like a standout moment from the episode. Just weird. So crazy in a way that King of the Hill usually isn't. But a striking visual, like I'm thinking back to like Green Bobby from the previous episode, Keeping Up with Our Joneses. Like now you have Bobby foaming at the mouth into this tank. I'll save my thoughts on the rest of this for as this unfurls. But I do want to say we haven't been touching on the Peggy stuff. She's trying to get this Cinco de Mayo stuff together, and it's her sugar out. She needs it for a recipe she's working on. That's when Bobby sneaks in and takes it. She's talking to Luann in the kitchen, and Luann's talking about Buckley coming to the Cinco de Mayo thing. So it's revealed that her and Buckley are back together. And I want to loop that in because we have Paul Lieberstein, who wrote Luann's Saga, the breakup episode. Well, now he's writing on this one, where I guess they're back together. Which makes sense, because you see Buckley in the intro to the show, so you might expect, like, is this guy coming back? Did she just date him for one episode, and he was in the pilot, that's it? Now he's in the fucking intro forever? Well, we hear Buckley's back, and we will be seeing him more in the future.
That's an example of, like, those little details. I didn't even think about it. I didn't catch it. I like that, like, the world is fleshed out a bit. Things are going on in the background sometimes and so forth. And then, you remember how the show started? Y'all see the Seinfeld show?
Yep.
We're talking about things like being connected, the way that Dale's being exterminator influences Joseph, that tells Bobby, and then Bobby now apparently, like, entranced by the Queen's fumes, ate all the sugar, and then that gets back to affecting the A story. Peggy's been around doing her thing, mostly not of any consequence to the main story with the ants in the yard.
She's just mispronouncing Spanish words, most of it.
But now she needs some sugar.
Yeah.
So she goes over to the Gribbles. I got a thing for, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm not, I don't have pictures of Nancy on my wall or anything like that. But
you don't have a full body Nancy body pillow that you sleep next to?
That's right. I don't. But I wonder if I ever, like, went to therapy and we start mining my childhood for, like, the origins of various things that are true about me now. Would it be like, yeah, man, like, you were around a lot of, pretty Texas ladies. Mm-hmm. And so now, as an adult, you're kind of like, oh, I like Nancy a little bit. Like, it's not romantic. There's just I like when Nancy's around talking.
She's a pleasant character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Pretty Texas lady who says things like this. Peggy goes over asking for sugar.
Oh, sugar. We're out of sugar, Shug.
Oh, I just love that cadence and just oh God, it's so delightful to listen to. Did you know any Texas women that you're speaking of? Did they say sugar like that?
No, I don't remember anybody saying sugar like that. I do like whether it's true to my experience or not, I like that that's something that Nancy does. She'll use sugar as like a swear word. She'll refer to people as sugar.
It's very endearing, yeah. I didn't know if that was like a common thing in Texas, but I guess it's just a Nancy thing.
I don't remember people saying, oh, sugar. Like, oh, shoot, or oh, darn it. Oh, sugar. I don't remember that.
Oh, sugar. We're out of sugar, Shug. Well, this play for me was always very painfully obvious to serve the plot because Nancy's like, oh, I'll go get some. And Peggy's like, oh, no, don't worry. I'll go get it. Like, I guess they're close. So maybe, but to me, I'm like, I don't know that I'd be offering to go down into my neighbor's basement to get the sugar out. Because who's more likely to find it? Peggy or Nancy? Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a pantry down there and Peggy knows where it is.
A big neon sign flashing sugar.
Yeah, with
here.
Pointing sugar this way.
Isn't it pretty likely that there would be a house rule at the Gribbles? No one goes in Dale's basement.
I wouldn't want to go down there because he's home.
Yeah, Peggy wouldn't want to, but I would also think Dale wouldn't want anybody to, and you just don't.
Yeah.
And you probably have to like punch in a code to get down there.
Right. Well, ultimately, he wouldn't have wanted Peggy to go down there because she goes down there, and what does she find? not just some crudely drawn plans, a to scale model of the Hill House with notes on it for when Dale planted ants there. And then she finds multiple jars of Dale's ants, each of them with a queen.
That's true, yeah.
And some worker ants with it. We then cut to a first-person point of view, which might be our first in King of the Hill.
Might be.
That looks like, it's like night vision, and it's almost like Silence of the Lambs at this moment. It's
got to be on purpose, right? They're doing a little reference.
It has to be. But it's just Dale. Okay, don't worry about it. It's just Dale who flips up the shades on his glasses.
Does he always have those Dwayne Wayne, A Different World? I remember the Cosby Show spinoff, A Different World. The character played by Kadeem Hardison had like shades that would flip up from his prescription eyeglasses. Does Dale always have the flip thing going?
Yeah, we see him do it multiple times. I know this isn't the only point. Like as a comedic effect, like if he's trying to get a better look at something or whatever, I think that he'll do it then. But yeah, we'll see it more throughout the series. But I think this is the first time that they do that here. They do it here.
Oh, so many firsts.
And yeah, for real. And he denies any wrongdoing despite this ridiculous amount of evidence.
Oh, I forgot there's a line in here that might be in my top 3 favorite funny lines.
How could you plant fire ants on our lawn?
I'm denying that. That's my position.
Dale, you wrote it on this map. 3 a.m. planted ants.
If all you're going on is my confession, forget it. I'm simply not credible.
Well then, what on God's green earth are you doing with all these fire ants?
They're silkworms.
Uh-huh.
If you keep your mouth shut, I'll make you a business suit.
All right, now listen. If you're going by my confession, forget it. I'm simply not reliable. It's so funny to me. I love when Dale acknowledges that he's a crackpot, like nutcase idiot.
Yeah, it's any time that he's like about to get in trouble for something, then suddenly he's like, "Well, I don't know anything. Don't listen to me."
And then just the bonkers logic of he denies that they're ants and says that they're silkworms.
Yeah.
He still is like, don't tell anybody about the ants, is what he means. And if you don't, I'll make you a dress out of the silk that the silkworms make, is what he's proposing at the end there. So to me, it's like he's kind of having both things be true at once in this nonsensical, hilarious way, where he's like, keep your mouth shut about the ants, and also they're silkworms, and I'll make you a dress if you don't.
That's interesting. See, I didn't take it that way at all.
Oh, probably the way you did makes more sense.
I like it the way that you're describing it more. The way I took it was he's kind of acknowledging, like, obviously she's right, and he knows that his excuses are bullshit.
Right.
And so he's offering her like a Dale's dead bug like jumpsuit with her name like on a tag. Like that's what I took it as. Is like, I'll make you a business suit.
I think he loops back. Like he gets all the way to like, okay, listen, we both know that it's ants. Don't tell anybody. And then he loops back to the lie and says he'll make her a dress because he has silkworms, which he doesn't have.
I don't know, dude. I really don't know which way that's supposed to go. I like the way that you're saying it because it's so diluted.
That's what I like about it. I think it's so funny and diluted that he's like mushing together the reality that he's having to confront. He's been caught with the lie that both people involved know is not true.
Right, because I didn't think about that, where like a silk business suit is a thing. So that's why the silkworm connection. I don't know, man. I don't know which way to take that. That's a really fun line. It's so ambiguous.
And that represents the best of Dale, right? If you're following his actions, you're like, I mean, not only a bad friend, but to be a bad friend in this way might mean you're like a bad person.
Uh-huh.
But I love the basement scene.
I know. It's so fun.
Like you find out how bananas he is with the planning and the model and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
You love that when he gets caught, he's like, I'm unreliable. He denies it. He lies about it. He says he's unreliable. And then, if we can kind of go with that ridiculous, diluted logic of offering the suit.
Like trying to bribe her with something that he can't even do and won't have anyways.
Because it grows out of a lie that he was telling. It's like that's a like a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch combo of Dale being fucking funny as hell.
Yeah. Plus, he was walking around in the dark basement with his sunglasses on, I guess. Like, what was he even doing when she came down? I don't know if I want to know what he was doing when she came down. But I like, obviously they're not going to go this way, but I like that he's not mad at her or like aggressive towards her
That's
about
right,
this.
yeah.
He's just like instantly, like, it's just funny. It just comes off as comedy, even though not only is it set up in an intentionally creepy way because they're spoofing Silence of the Lambs, but it's fucking creepy. He has a model of their house, like, in his
Yeah.
basement that he's, like, really been... It's not like this was a quick decision, I'll just drop some ants. Oh, fuck them, I'll drop some more ants. This was a plotted, very planned thing that he is executing on his friend.
The man's unwell.
Right. It's not a quick crime of passion.
Yeah.
It's a very calculated decision that he is making here.
Somehow that makes it better for me. I'm like,
I
this
know,
guy's off his rocker, man.
Yeah, this guy is
poor
fucking
guy is
nuts.
nuts.
yeah, that's exactly it. And that is a good distinction to where it wasn't just he was hurt and did it out of that quick hurt. It was, again, something he sat with for a long time.
He got swept up in his own mind, as we all do in our own
so
ways.
really colors this character.
Peggy rats him out, though.
She instantly tells Hank, who then chases Dale around the Dale's dead bug van.
Dale!
Ah! Oh, man.
Dale, you
Come
went
on,
too
get
far
him
this
now.
time. Come back here. Come here. I'm going to kick your ass.
No! No!
I'm going to kick it harder if you don't come over here.
You shouldn't have fired me. You know what I'm like. I'm capable of any crazy thing.
My lawn, Dale. You don't mess with a man's lawn.
All right, so check it out. In that scene, did you notice that Hank was barefoot?
Oh, you're right, because he runs out of the house.
He doesn't.
Oh.
He is sitting in a lawn chair in the rubble of his former yard that is now like mud instead
Yeah.
of sand.
Because, the sprinklers come up and spray, and it soaks the mud, soaks the dirt.
So it's kind of like he's forcing himself to treat it as if it's still his yard.
Yeah.
So like he's watering it with the sprinklers. Because we don't know that he like planted seed or anything like that. Like he's just sitting there.
Right, we never saw anything about that. Yeah.
And I was like, so he was barefoot? What? Like enjoying the muck the way that he was enjoying the St. Augustine? Like, why is he barefoot?
I wouldn't say enjoy. I read this as him, like, sitting in his shame.
That might work, yeah. Here's the deal. In the deleted scenes, he's wearing shoes on that lawn chair.
Oh.
In the cut here, I guess we don't, I didn't double check, but I don't think we see him like get up and have this happen. In the deleted scene, he gets up and his shoes get stuck in the muck.
Oh.
So when he pulls his feet out, now he's in his stocking feet. He's in his socks. But then when he has to take more steps and his socks get stuck in the muck, so that now he's barefoot, and that's how he ends up barefoot. So it's like you with your sod, except now it's Hank with his muck.
Yeah, this is exactly what you're working with. Well, I'm watching it now. I want to see. Okay, so I just went back and watched it, and Rob is so right, where we see Hank sitting there with his shoes on, then when we see him chasing Dale, his shoes are off. So what you could easily think is a visual error, like, oh, they fucked up there. Well, no, they didn't. They explained it, but the scene got cut for time. Yeah, huh.
For our purposes, let's interrupt that confrontation, which is pretty fun. It's pretty fun for all of this to come to a head with Hank chasing Dale around, and Dale, you can't trust me.
It's cathartic for us, too, as the viewer, who's finally seeing Hank figure this out, yeah.
But something that has happened is Bobby is entranced and following orders. Because there's a scene where he's looking at his gumball machine and he's like, I can't let you go, And then he's like, okay, sorry. He acquiesces.
He'll do their bidding.
Yeah. He is straight up talking to the queen, taking orders.
Communicating, yeah, like sniffing and then talking back.
And you called it cartoony earlier. That's fair. It's like magic, like an unrealistic magical thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
I guess we'll get into it, because that's the question, is anything actually happening? Is this just Bobby being a little weirdo boy? And he thinks that it's all like, I don't want to say psychosomatic, that's not the right term, but like he's convincing himself that like this is really happening.
That's what I
like.
wondered.
I believe that Bobby thinks this.
Right. If it was kind of like, I'm a shaman.
Yeah. Exactly.
So here's how it plays. He's been ordered, we gather. It's like a Bob Newhart phone call. We only hear his side of the conversation. But he's been ordered to let them go, so he does. And here's what he's saying.
Yes, Your Majesty, I will tell my people about you. And may I be so bold as to ask you to tell your subjects about... Uh-oh.
Okay, that little uh-oh is because the ants were going into the anthill.
Yeah,
and
then they turn
reverse
around.
course and start coming his way.
Like instantly.
Yeah. Is there a way to believe that Bobby's kind of pretending for himself? Even if he's pretending so hard, he's like really caught up in it and believing it.
Mm-hmm.
Or are we meant to think that somehow he is receiving messages from the bug?
Right. And it is ambiguous.
Yeah.
And especially in season 1 of King of the Hill, right? Like, it's pretty established at this point to what the show will be, but it's still season 1. They're still playing around. Maybe they kind of wanted to have crazy shit like this happen sometimes. So I don't fully know, but the way that I'm taking it, especially knowing what the show becomes, is that I'm glad you pointed it out, Rob. This is a perfect example for this, and another grass seed that sets this up is Order of the Straight Arrow, when Bobby believes all this stuff that he's doing, and he's very convincing about it, and he's very convinced by it. And that's the same exact thing that we're seeing here, I think. Like, he heard from Joseph, oh, she controls the subject with her smell.
Right, yeah.
And so he, like, sniffed and thought that he did. I feel like they are playing it ambiguously, though.
Yeah.
Like, there could have been a way to show the audience more the very first time he sniffed that he was just bullshitting. And to me, they play it kind of straight, but there's no possible way that I think that it's meant to be magic or anything like that, or actually happening. Because really, what happens is this boy took these ants, was fucking with them in his house. Eventually, he let them go, and then they attacked him. And it's like, well, I've been attacked by an anthill that I was fucking with as a kid.
To the extent that Bobby does?
I mean, not covered in ants like that. I fucking ran away as soon as I got bit by one or two. But like, to me, it just seems like they're like, oh, there's an intruder here. Attack him. Like, he's fucking with our nest.
Yeah. So there you go. The uh-oh and the ants are coming back toward him.
Uh-huh.
Back to the fight between, like, we saw that a minute ago. Now Hank is chasing Dale around and everything.
Yeah.
And we hear Bobby.
Dad?
Not now, Bobby. I'm in the middle of something.
This really can't wait.
And then we cut to Bobby's POV.
Oh, God, yeah.
And ants crawl across our eyeballs in this first person point of view. And then we go to where we can see Bobby, and yeah, he is covered in ants, which is pretty like freaky.
It's gross. Yeah, and this is one of those other visuals that always stuck with me from the episode. And then spoilers, but then Dale gets it too very quickly here.
Yeah, that's right.
Is the characters covered in ants. It's kind of a gross episode in a way that we don't get. And not only with the ants, but like with Bobby with the sugar in his mouth, like foaming out. Like, that's kind of gross. And then, yeah, this is, ugh.
Hank's bare feet. This episode is disgusting.
Hank's dirty old bare feet running around on the street there.
Then there's this note that gets struck. You know, Hank sees what's up.
Oh, Bobby, what are you doing?
And we love Bobby.
Yeah.
He's our sweet little boy. He is covered in fire ants. And then the delivery here, let's hear it. And I wonder how I'm going to feel about it. Because it feels very vulnerable, and the child I care about in the show, you know, one of them, I got to protect this kid. Listen to this.
Take him off.
Take him off. Like, he's in trouble, and he needs help. It's like a quick but pretty emotional little moment. I think. Take him off.
Yeah, and I want to note here how quickly like a child's game essentially can turn into something dangerous like this. To where you just feel bad for Bobby. He was just playing. He was pretending like he was an ant and talking with them. But now he's in serious shit. This poor innocent kid. He wasn't even, he wasn't terrorizing the ants.
That's true.
He accidentally killed one, but he was just trying to look at it.
He fed him sugar.
Yeah, he was trying to keep them alive, trying to treat them well. And so Bobby here, by all means, didn't really do anything horrible or wrong or anything.
No, yeah, that's right.
So you just feel so bad, and he's just so helpless here.
And it was all coming from a good place. Interest, he just thought they were interesting or whatever. But also when Joseph described what the echo kill, what it was going to do, or like Bobby heard what it was going to do or whatever, he said, what an awful way to die. Like, he's coming from a place of compassion. He saves the ants. Like, yes, he's interested. Also, they are going to suffer some horrific fate.
Right.
And this is how they repay him. You can't trust ants anymore than you can trust Dale Gribble.
But all this to exemplify that Bobby completely not in the wrong, because he was never doing anything that you would be like, oh, well, you deserve it, Bobby. As opposed to Dale here, who's actually going to come in and rescue Bobby and save the day in a turn from all of the episode up until this point.
Bobby, don't move a muscle.
Listen to him, Bobby. If you move, they're all gonna sting at once.
Take my hand, Bobby. The ants will swarm on me.
What if they don't?
Oh, they will. They've been waiting to get a piece of me for 15 years.
Yes.
Come and get it, boys.
All right, so one thing is Hank says if you move, they're all going to sting at once, which is the very thing he told Dale wasn't true earlier.
At the beginning of the episode. Yeah.
It's another thing that's hard for me to like track and get all the pieces of the puzzle to fit together, you know, because it's like, well, was Hank wrong earlier? Is he like nothing that's gone on should have changed his mind about Dale's expertise?
Mm-hmm.
He found out that Dale planted the ants. He saw that when Dale did treat the yard, it destroyed it.
Yeah.
So it's not like Dale has proven to Hank that he should be trusted on bug matters. So why does Hank contradict himself here?
My takeaway here that I'm really noticing is that ultimately, like, that doesn't really matter. It's so much just that Hank is finally, like, ceding to Dale.
I think that kind of captures the way I feel about the episode, where it's like broadly,
Yeah.
cool. If I get into the minutia, I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, maybe it is just, like, if Dale could pull this off, maybe that does give Dale some credibility in Hank's eyes. Like, oh, maybe this guy does know about fire ants if he completely fucked my yard with them. Maybe he knows a thing or two about how they work.
Oh. So, like, Dale's dark doings convinced Hank, oh, maybe he does know.
Maybe he is qualified. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the way that I could.
I stand corrected. You're a goddamn fire ant genius. I didn't know. Look at what you did. I mean, you're evil genius, but look at you.
I can't deny that he knows his stuff, Peg.
I'll be damned. The other thing I like about that is, what if they don't transfer over to Dale? And Dale says, totally confident they will because they've been trying to get back at him. Now, if we accept that Bobby really is being mind controlled, then maybe ants in this episode would also hold a 15-year grudge against Dale Gribble or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But really, like, it's just Dale imagining this reality for himself, like he always does, imagining that the bugs would be out to get him, and he's in some, like, epic war with insects.
Yeah.
And yet he's right.
Yeah, no, so how, I never really thought about that. How about
transfer.
that? Yeah.
Now, obviously, that doesn't have to be because they hate Dale Gribble for 15 years.
But what scientific reason could there be for that, right?
I think Dale tastes good. You ever think about that?
Ooh, maybe.
Bill,
maybe.
I'm not so sure he tastes good. Dale tastes
Well, let me tell you,
sweet.
we see he's keeping lots of ants. He might be covered in ant food, whatever that is. I don't fucking know.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
that's why he's got ant food all over him, and they're like, oh, let's go get some of that.
It's funny how often there's like a kind of simple, acceptable explanation for things that could be going on behind the scenes, you know, out of frame.
Uh-huh.
And of course, they don't tell us that. But I do like, it seems like 5 times this episode, it's been like you've thrown out, like, maybe it's this. And it's like, oh, yeah, maybe it is that. Like, it's not present, but maybe so.
Here, I want to, of course, Dale's a total badass here. We'll discuss in a moment if he does redeem himself with this or not. But I could see why he would for a lot of people. He's like, he doesn't even hesitate. He jumps to it and saves Bobby. And it's cool if he's like, look, they've been trying to get a piece of me for 15 years. And then they all swarm on him. You're like, whoa, man, this is epic. Like you said, this epic insect battle that he's fighting in his head. But also, if it's not because of that, then what Dale does is still very heroic, but it makes it less cool. for certain. It's less cinematic.
Because it's just luck?
Yeah, I don't know. But we, like you said, unequivocally, every single ant moves from Bobby onto Dale. And now Dale's covered. And then he gets stung, and we get a little ow.
He like seizes out, falls down, dies. He just dies. And as soon as his body is still, all the ants scatter off of him and leave. Their job's done. They killed the Dale Gribble.
Yeah.
Mr. Gribble?
Dale, no! Oh, God. You sacrificed your life to save my son. I guess that makes us even for you ruining my lawn.
Even.
What am I saying? Of course it makes us even.
I kind of want, this is, neither here nor there. I kind of wish it just stopped at, I guess that makes us even for you ruining my lawn. I don't know why he like thinks about it again and confirms, yes, it does make us even.
It's
I
just
don't
like
understand
the
that
joke.
beat.
It's just, this is another one of those instances where it's just like for the audience. It's just a joke. It doesn't make sense that he would do that, but
I guess the joke is that he is like, in this moment, he's actually thinking through whether they're even. So he's like debating and he settles it for himself.
But, obviously it's ridiculous that he values his son's life and his lawn the same amount. And so, again, they're just hitting on even, not, oh my God, like, I don't care about the lawn anymore.
Right.
He's like, the best he'll do is we're even on this now. Of course we're even. You've earned it. You've earned being even by saving my son's life. Because he thinks Dale's dead, too. No doubt Bobby would have died if he got stung like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just stating the obvious here because I don't think I ever appreciated this ending as much in this episode as now that I'm paying attention to it here, how much is actually going on with this.
Including the part where here's those tender feelings. Talking about the yard and people being even in Hank's mind. He said that he reserves his tender feelings for his lawn.
Yeah.
Here, tender feelings pouring out of him toward a human.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Almost as if Dale is family, because that's what he said earlier, was that he doesn't. Yeah. I love when Dale wakes up. He's just Dale.
While I was blacked out, was anything inserted into me?
You're alive?
Answer the question.
Oh my, that's his number one concern, which has to be like an alien kind of.
Yeah, he's referring
right?
to anal probes
Yeah, that's what I would think.
by extraterrestrials.
Or I guess terrestrials as well. He didn't clarify if only extraterrestrials probed him.
I love, how do you end that scene? How can you end that scene,
Yes.
And there's, you could figure out different ways, I suppose. For me, I'm pretty happy with, okay, that was the big emotional climax. Let's get funny.
Yeah.
Who's Dale? Dale's like this.
Yeah.
This is Dale.
He's unchanged really by anything that just happened. Like Hank is changed,
That's true, yeah.
but Dale, he's just Dale. Here we are now to the Cinco de Mayo block party that Peggy's in charge of, and again, she's been hitting the Spanish overpronunciation joke hard. For example, here's how she responded when Hank was first feuding with Con about who had the better lawn.
Yeah, you remember the humble beginnings of this episode?
Yeah,
This Con has a better yard. Here's what Peggy says. Again, to be clear, because you're going to hear what she says at the beginning. Hank is talking about Con.
Oh, he's the devil. Anyway, Hank, would you please tell Boomhauer Swiss cheese is not Mexican. It is American. I want him to bring some Monterey. Ha!
God.
He's the devil anyway.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit. Like, she's so...
Casually,
what she's
Con's the
doing.
devil.
Yeah.
Anyway, that Monterey.
Which is an American cheese, by the way.
Yeah, and my favorite. I love
And
Monterey
Swiss
Jack
cheese, of course, is not American.
Yeah, right.
That's just all over the place.
I do like like that she's stupid about that stuff, but that God, it's not my favorite thing that goes on.
That's a little bit over the top. I mean, this could
Yeah.
just be Peggy having fun, being in the moment, not really caring about what she's doing. Maybe she's been drinking while she's putting this together. I don't know.
Maybe she's been drinking some margaritas.
Yeah.
I like that it ain't just me, man, who's like, all right, Peggy, enough.
Yeah, we're getting annoyed by it, but it's not just us.
Yeah, Hank doesn't often indicate or reveal that he has thoughts one way or the other on the pronunciation, generally.
He just like lets it all slide.
But his whole yard got fucked up. So he's watching a golf tournament, and he's rewinding the part where they show the greens and they comment on, he's like, oh, it's so lush. He's just rewinding and replaying this part of the golf tournament. Anyway, Peggy comes in. She's like, you should join the block party.
Oh, yeah. Come join the block party. Have at least one margarita before Bill finishes them all.
I love that Bill keeps coming up, by the way. Without my yard, I'm Bill. There's some other one I'm forgetting. And then now Bill's the one who's going to drink all the margaritas.
He's just like a nuisance. Like there's like like he's always causing problems, and like you don't want to be married to him or anything. Yeah.
Anyway, here's Hank responding to the whole. Do you call it trilling your R's, rolling your R's?
Yeah, I would say rolling.
It's not Margarita, okay? It's Margarita.
Hank's had enough, man.
Yeah, he's pushing back, which, yeah, I mean, like you said, especially the Monterey Jack one is a little
It's a
bit.
lot.
And especially considering the Peggy that we had just, let's say 5 episodes ago, this is a pretty different character where she's saying Swiss cheese is not Mexican, it's American.
Different because she seems stupider?
Yeah, just Peggy being over the top here in ways that we haven't seen, but it's fun to see Hank kind of push back against that in this rare moment. Like you said, he usually does not, and whatever she does, he lets slide normally.
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah. We heard that doorbell ring. It's funny because there is the big climax with Dale saving Bobby, but I guess there's still the issue of everyone was mean to Hank and his yard is fucked, so the episode's not over yet.
Uh-huh.
We heard the doorbell ring. We go out there. Nancy hands him a little patch of grass. Oh, fine-ass Nancy.
I wish she'd hand me some grass.
And Bill hands him some grass. Even Con encourages Hank to have, use this grass that they're giving him to have a nice lawn. John Redcord's around.
Yeah.
And then here comes Dale. He's all covered in bandages, suffering for his sacrifice. I like how emotional he is.
Organically grown, no chemicals. I killed all the bugs with my fingers.
Aww. So Dale actually did seem to learn a lesson here because he's not using chemicals on
Yeah, that's right.
Hank's grass.
Even though he had been spraying Hank's yard, which was apparently the best yard in Arlen. So it's not like the chemicals were actually bad. He just overdid it, I guess.
Uh-huh.
You heard the little Christmas music?
Mhm.
Hark the Herald, was it? Angels
Yeah, I
Sing,
think so, yeah.
right? Not that this aired in May, as we noted. But we're doing a little It's a Wonderful Life thing here, and Boomhauer makes that pretty clear.
Yes, exactly.
Woo-wee, man, that's dang Hank, man, everybody's best friend, man, richest man in the world. Just like the dang old Jimmy, yo.
Just
Putters out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm realizing because this episode came out in May 4th. This is a Cinco de Mayo episode. It's not a Christmas episode, and it sounds like they're trying to go with more Mexican kind of instrumentation on that on Hark the Herald there.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about the fact that it came out the day before Cinco de Mayo, and it's all about Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, so this is you don't see many Cinco de Mayo episodes of TV shows, but
No, you don't.
Here's one of them.
Hank's response is so funny too. Right? Like I'm noting, I don't know about the logic, it was the details, the Bobby thing's kind of
Mm-hmm.
It makes me laugh all the time, like start to finish. Good, memorable laughs. And we've noted a few, and I love this part too.
Well, this is a very friendly gesture. I like y'all a whole lot. If any of you weren't here, I'd miss you some. I especially want to thank Dale Gribble. Without his paranoid and, well, hateful nature, I never would have learned what kind of beating a friendship can survive. You're my best friend, Dale.
The timing, Judge's.
Here, I'd miss you some.
I'd miss you
some. He's opening up when it pertains to his lawn, like this, where he's getting all the sod from everybody and like the mixture of the lawn and expressing his tender feelings and emotions. We have that beautiful moment with Hank and Dale, but wait.
Hank's best friend is Dale? But
Can't be right.
isn't Hank's best friend?
Well, I thought I was your best friend, Hank.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Aww. Poor Bill. Yeah.
Bill's just been lingering around. Man, fuck Bill, by the way. He's drinking everybody's margaritas. I get it. I might do that on accident.
He's saying that Hank deserved his lawn to be destroyed.
but saying he deserved his lawn to get destroyed and everything.
Hank had an easy way out of this. He could have said, yeah, Bill, well, Dale saved my son's life, so he's my best friend now. Which you couldn't really argue with that, but he's, yeah, well.
Imagine if it was like really serialized and one thing led to the next, because that would lead Bill to be like, oh, now I have to save Bobby's life. And then the next episode is him putting Bobby in danger in order to save him.
Yeah, I think that would end in heartbreak. I don't think Bill's competent enough to have pulled that off in a safe way to actually put Bobby's life in potential danger.
Well, yeah, Bill would fuck it up and get the boy killed.
Yeah.
It was only like 8 people or whatever it was that brought him a little patch
Yeah.
So
not a whole lot, but
over the credits, we watch Hank mow his new yard, which is barely anything. You know, a grid of however many, you know, like a 6x8 or whatever it is.
But you know what that made me think of?
What?
Earlier in the episode, Hank says a man's lawn is like a flag. Like
oh yeah.
And to me, it really looks like a flag, kind of like the way it's all patchy and like
wow, yeah,
the shape of a flag. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's certainly what I thought of. I'm like, well, there's his flag. He's mowing it, and it's this little patch.
Shaped more like a flag now than it would have been.
Yeah,
because it is a rectangle. Yeah, and he's happy enough. He's content.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
I like every now and then you can do something like that on this show where it's like, we'll just watch him do his thing and he just whistles for a while. You know, there's not a punchline to it. It's just Hank. It's pretty sweet too. Like I don't know why they were against him. That part frustrates me, but everybody came through for Hank and he was able to then express some gratitude for that in his own way. And here he is enjoying his connectedness with his community.
That's a good point because he was putting so much like thought into what his lawn represented that a normal person would never think of. Like he was putting all this value on this random thing essentially. But now he has a lawn that does mean something. It's like it represents his friendship with everybody.
That's right. Yeah. That's why you got to talk about all this shit because
I
never fully appreciated that. Yeah, he thought lawns were valuable.
Yeah.
But now, it's the most meaningful lawn in all the land.
Yeah, so a nice ending here. Before we talk about our final thoughts, let's jump into our quiz bowl.
On the phone, Peggy is admonishing some person for trying to make guacamole without using avocados.
Right.
She says you can't make guacamole with these two ingredients.
Oh my God. I remember the scene and I'm not going to remember because it's not ingredients that you make guacamole with. It's like one of them was some sort of chip, right?
Close, yeah.
Oh, okay. So what are they? I'm not going to guess them.
You cannot make authentic guacamole out of lima beans and Ritz crackers.
That's right.
Oh, these people. Gringos.
She calls them gringos.
Gringos. My question for you, which I know you're going to get because we touched on this for a while.
Oh.
What does Dale offer Peggy in exchange for her silence?
A business suit. Does he say something more specific?
Yeah, no, he says business suit. Yeah, I didn't know we'd talk about it that extensively. But no, I have another question, which we kind of touched on. What exactly happened to Hank's yard when it became a desert?
That's a quiz bowl question?
No, because I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if they actually say
I thought you knew the answer somehow.
No, because I'm still like, we didn't really touch on this a little bit. Like you kind of mentioned, like, was it because Dale intentionally used too many chemicals? Did Dale fuck it up by accident? It had to have been Dale in the, because just having the ants wouldn't have caused anything. So I guess ultimately, did Dale do it on purpose or was it on accident?
He says after the fact, when they're being unkind to Hank.
Yeah.
He says, I didn't use a 55-gallon drum more than I had to, right? So you'd be like, well, I only used the amount I needed, not a smidge more,
Okay.
But he says 55-gallon drum more, which is a kind of a joke that would suggest that he goes way overboard.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah.
And that does raise another question of, is Dale competent as an exterminator or not? He was like, their history is that he's been spraying and everything's fine. Now suddenly the yard's not that great, so no, Dale, you can't do it. Yeah, he planted the fire ants. Yeah, maybe the echo kill would have gotten rid of them, so Dale's causing all kinds of problems. But I say Hank might be the one who spread a lot of the ants by hitting them with the mower. Yeah, we find out Dale spread ants around as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sprays the ants, but he goes too far and destroys the yard. So was Hank right to deny him the job in the first place, even though the logic seemed to be that it wouldn't be Dale's fault that there was anything wrong in the first place? I guess, so that brings me to my closing thoughts, and I've commented all along the way, so I won't go on and on now. I don't quite know how everything fits together.
Yeah. Lots of open-ended stuff.
But I do like that thing that we also noted where just taking who the characters are, their relationships, the way they would interact, everything grows out of that. Even the one that maybe is hardest to accept is when Peggy goes down to the basement, like you said. Like, that might be a little contrived, and there's reasons to think that maybe wouldn't be the way that would go. But I do like that kind of like one thing leads to another, and it all grows out of the fact that Dale's an exterminator and has a son who has a friend, and his friend is his son's friend, right? Is Dale's friends. So it's like all the relationships and connections.
Gotta chart it out, yeah.
Or where all the story comes from. I like that DNA to the story. And I do laugh a lot, like I mentioned that. But ultimately, that kind of like logic thing, maybe. Having Dale be great as a character, but hard to accept as a person.
Yes.
To some degree, although you rehabilitated that a little bit. I do like remembering that, well, this is coming from vulnerability, and
yeah,
he says he's weak, and he's right. He's a weak man.
Yeah, like he acknowledges it in these moments of threat.
So I don't know. A lot of times we hit this moment, and I'm like, do I want to last minute change my rating? But I'll stick with, I'm going 2.5 out of 5 sophisticated celestial calendars.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah, this one is difficult because when I was just watching it, it's enjoyable. Like, I'm never why am I watching this? But I'm not laughing as much as I am like in the previous episode, Keeping Up with Our Joneses. I found this episode really not as funny. Now, when we talked about it on the podcast, a lot of those jokes that I kind of didn't get an initial reaction by, I appreciated them a lot more. And certainly what I'm taking away here is how well written this episode is, despite not being like a super laugh fest. It's very well written. Now, at the same time, like you're saying, there are a lot of like open questions, like a lot of one way or the other, but I'm just going to take that as points left purposely ambiguous for the viewer to decide and make their own decisions on. Like, was Bobby actually being controlled by ants or not? And certainly these make fun discussion points. But the fact that there's like this A plot, but a B plot that's kind of driving it, the whole Cinco de Mayo Peggy stuff. But then we get a C plot with Bobby, with the ants, and just the way, like you mentioned, all these things kind of weave together. All these different character interactions. The characters just all bouncing off of each other within this story is very incredibly well done. And I appreciate this one in a way that I didn't before. I'll give it 3 ant-filled gumball machines out of 5. What did you think of King of the Anthill? Do you like this one? Do you not? You could reach out to us over at yeppodcast.com. Over on yeppodcast.com, you can also become a supporter of the show. For $5 a month, you get the full episode, and you hear us talk about all the not all of it, but some of the pop culture of the time that these episodes debuted. And you know who really did that super hard was our Propane Hall of Famer, Nick. Nick. There he is. And you know what? Through my conversations with Nick, he's mentioned to me cutting his own grass. Nick, he's a lawn man, just like Hank Hill. Maybe he's listening to this while he's cutting the grass right now. I don't know. But Nick, this is coming from both Rob and I. We hope that you don't get fire ants, all right? We hope that doesn't happen. Oh, yeah. I hope you don't walk out to a desert out in your... But if you do, let us know. Rob and I will donate to you a little patch of grass each that you can use to replant your yard. So thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody who's supporting us over there at yeppodcast.com. And next time on the podcast, we are at the end of the season, Rob. It's our season finale, Season 1, Episode 12's Plastic White Female.
Beauty is an art. It's not something you can learn in school like gym or study hall.
Oh, man.
If I'm not misremembering, Bobby forms a romantic relationship with a head.
That is true. That is the episode. And if anything, maybe King of the Anthill priming us for this weird Bobby. Because here he's getting controlled by ants, and now he's going to be making out with a dummy's head.
I'm really excited to watch that one and pay close attention to it and talk about it. Like, it's just so weird, but also like it's probably pretty normal. Like some version of that is
right. It's like a private.
Common, I'm thinking
we're seeing private moments that you don't normally see.
It's weird for public, and maybe kind of normal for private. And it's kind of some version of it. Some version. So I like when a show can be like, look, here's something that humans get up to.
Right, exactly.
We don't talk about it a lot. You don't hear about it a lot, but
yeah.
You know, people get a little weird.
That's exactly it. In this episode, we had Dale doing bad things for his own personal reasons. And in the next episode, we will see Bobby doing weird things for his own personal reasons. So I'm very excited to talk about that one.
Yep.
Yep.